Hey everybody, welcome back to Stamping School. It has been a long time since I did little matchbook boxes, the little slide out drawers. You can use them for all sorts of goodies, everything from jewelry to candy to tags. You just modify the size. I'll show you how I make them, and they're real easy to change the size on. Look at this one, has a little card in here. The last time I made these, we used the big jumbo eyelets. Remember those? That's been a really long time. So let me show you. I'll start with this one and then we'll modify it to a smaller box. This one is 2x4, which is a really good size to put a lot of fun things in. Now, this is my favorite paper to make the boxes out of, and it's free. It's the paper that comes in your designer paper. I hope you save these because they're nice and they're glossy and they're heavy and they really work well. Yes, you can use cardstock, but the cardstock, you know, takes a little bit of a beating and it's a little bit, unless you double these over and make them really sturdy, they are a little bit flimsy, I suppose. Not bad, but I really like this, and then covering it with designer paper. So for the 2x4 box, for the part that comes around here, you're gonna cut something that's 4 inches by 7 inches. 4 inches by 7. And then you're gonna score it. Now you can use your scoring board or you can just use this, that's fine too. But then you need to score it at 1 inch, 3 inches, 4 inches, and 6 inches. So what that does is that leaves you a 2 inch and a 1 inch side. And so it's gonna look like this. So if you want a different size box, let's say you want it to be 4 inches by 1 inch high, then you could have a 1 inch panel and then 4 inches and 1 inch and 4 inch. So you can really modify this to any size that you want. So you're gonna score it at 1 inch. And this is why I like my scoreboard, because sometimes it's kind of tight right here. Or you can leave your track open and you can just score this way and score 1 inch and 3 inches, like that, and 4 inches. So there's my next side, and then 6 inches right here. Okay, and then you're just gonna barrel roll these, I call them. Just score them all up like this. Put adhesive on one of those 1 inch ends, close it up, and there is the slidey part of your matchbox. Now, for the bottom portion, you have to start out, this is my secret, it doesn't have to be smaller this way, but it does have to be smaller width-wise, because if we made it exactly the same size, it's not gonna fit in here. So my secret is to come in and you wanna take it off just a little bit, just a little tiny bit before the 4 inches. If I made it 4 inches by 6 inches, it's not gonna fit inside here. So you're gonna come back just a wee bit. And like I said, I hate math, so it's literally, I don't know if you can see that, it's the 1/8 inch before the 4. So it's 3 7/8 by 6 inches. So the length is fine. We just need to make the width a little bit shorter so it fits. And then here's the secret. I'm going to use my scoreboard because I think it's easier. So 3 7/8 by 6. Now, you're going to score it at 1 inch on all sides. But you can't score it at 1 inch and then 3 inch, because remember we shortened it a little bit. So you have to just turn it each time. Score it on 1 inch on all 4 sides. Okay, 1 inch on all 4 sides, and then your box is gonna fit. Now you're just gonna cut, so you're gonna hold it in portrait vertical position, and you're gonna cut just the flaps up to the score line right there. Just like that, on the 2 ends, cut those up like that. And there's your flaps. Now what I like to do on these outer corners is just take off a little bit of that, because it'll make it a little bit easier to to fold together and not have them poking up. So just take off that little, just a sliver. I mean, it's not much, just a little bit. And then all you have to do is glue these 4. And you can use heavy glue, you can use, I like the seal, it works so great. But you can use liquid glue, whatever's nice and strong. And then you're just going to bring these up like this and put your ends in there. Now, there's different ways to go about adding your pull. Your pull is kind of important because you have to be able to get this open, right? You could cut a little half circle. You would have to, if you punched it, you couldn't go through this both at the same time. You'd almost have to cut this shorter and then, you know, put a little pull thing. But I really like ribbon or something that's going to give them a way to open that easier. Now, these are just decorated with 1 inch by 2 inch pieces of designer paper, and then I'll show you how to wrap this. But for the pull, let's just say that we've had put our designer paper on here already. Make your little mark. And if you still have a crocodile, that works so well. This is a really old tool, had for such a long time. And you can't go in like this, so you have to go in upside down. And I don't, can you see that? See that little guy that comes out right there? That is the hole punch. And once you've marked it, of course, you can just punch your hole. Now, if you don't have something big like that, what you can do is you can poke a hole through it and then just before you glue it, and then punch that twice so that you get through both of these. If you have a punch strong enough, then that's good. You can do a brad through there. You can do the ribbon, you know, use little pull knobs from the craft store. A button that's glued on here that has a little bit of place to hold on to is adorable also. But I did it pretty easily. I just took about 4 inches of ribbon and I tied it in a knot. Now, depending on how big the ribbon is, this one's pretty sturdy, so I can just put 1 knot in there and then fish that through, both of them through the hole, which is fun in itself because, you know, you got to be able to get that through. Now, if you don't want to see the knot, I mean, you could do a little loop-de-loo like I did on this cardstock one. I'll show you as soon as I get these through. There we go. Get both of those through. Give yourself enough room so you can trim that up a little. See, right there. So there's the little, there's the little ties here. So let me show you the other way. You can make like a little handle out of ribbon. And on this one, I hid it underneath a panel of cardstock. So I punched 2 holes, ran it through, and then glued it inside so you couldn't see that. A little more tedious too, but it's still kind of cute. I still like the idea of a really big button or something. So then, you know, now you can decorate, which is really fun. You've already got your designer paper on the front, hopefully, before you did your holes. This has a piece of velvet on the inside. And then to wrap this all the way around, let me show you what that looks like. So the easiest way that I found to wrap this around, this is a 6-inch piece. And this will leave just a little bit of cardstock at the bottom. Can you see that? Because it's 6 inches, which really works well for the 6x6 and the 12x12. So if you want to give yourself another 1/4 inch, it's perfect, but I really find it doesn't matter. So you can just start gluing this on to the very bottom here. And then you can bend it across the top and crease it. So you don't have to cut or just score anything. Just use your fingers and just give yourself a little bit of glue. Come across. And again, right here, like that. And then right here, see how short it is? So you could put another little piece down there if you wanted to, or you can just let it go and just not have the bottom be 100% matching. I don't know if anybody's really gonna look underneath there, but there you go. right, now let me show you how to do these smaller ones, and these are a set of 3. So the cover starts out smaller, obviously, because it's a smaller little box. So these are 2 inches by 3 inches each one. And we're gonna stack them together and create this little gift box, like a little jewelry box. So you're gonna start with 3 inches by 7 inches, and then you're gonna score at 1 inch and 3 inch and 4 inch and 6 inches, so that here's your sides, right? Just like that. And they glue together just like we did the last one. So it looks like that right there. Now the smaller one that has to fit inside there, again, we're gonna cut it down just that little bit. So instead of 4 inches by 5 inches, we're gonna cut it down to 3 7/8 by 5. And then you're gonna do the same thing. You're gonna score at 1 inch and 1 inch and 1 inch and 1 inch. And we're gonna cut it exactly the same way. So this side is just a little bit taller, so that's the size that you want right here to make that. And then again, cut off that little bit, just a little sliver on each one. If you forget to cut these off, it's okay. What you're gonna find is when you put them together, it's up just a little bit. So what I mean is that when you put this together then, this end piece right here, these will sometimes be up, and then you'd have to trim them off. So that's why I trim them down slightly, just so they don't pop up over this 1 inch piece right here. And we'll glue that together, and it looks like this. Now we can cover it with a designer paper, and I'll show you what I did on this one, which is a little bit different. I covered the inside and made it a little bit smoother and stronger. Now this is a 2 by 3 box, right? But you need to trim this paper down a little bit more because it won't fit in there. So it needs to be a little bit less than 2 and a little bit less than 3. So it's just, you know, 1/8 of an inch, and just sort of work that down in there like that. It's like the 1/4 is too much and the 1/8 seems to be just about right to make it just a little bit smaller. And then this piece right here is 2 inch by 2 inch, but again, you need to shave off just a little bit off the side, and this is how I decorated the front on this one. You could just do a little 1 inch piece, but I thought it looked really nice to glue it all the way around. It gives the top a really nice smooth edge where the drawer is, see? And it's kind of cool. It gives it a little bit more stability there. A little 3/4 inch circle punch out of the glimmer paper. This paper, this peaceful garden paper is so pretty. And then there's designer paper, you know, so that's so pretty. And then for my poles, I did the same thing. I'm gonna punch a hole and tie my white ribbon through. If you can mark the center first, that kind of helps if you can see it. And then again, I'm going in with my crocodile. I had to dust this off. It has been a long time since I used my crocodile. But I can see, I don't know if you, can you see? Well, you probably can't see, but there is a little post that comes out and chomps right through it. That was a little crooked, but that's okay. I'm just doing white ribbon on this one. Now this ribbon is thinner, so I had to do 2 knots to keep it from coming through the hole. So depending on the size of ribbon you use, you have to make sure the knot's big enough that when you pull it, it doesn't come through your hole. If you just did a paper piercer and just poked a hole in it, that'd probably work too. You're not really gonna see it, so you might as well, whatever works for you if you don't have a crocodile. And there we go. Now I could tie this if I wanted to, but I kind of like it just like that. And then trim it off. You may need to burn the edges or put a little sealing on it if you don't want it to fray too much. And there's the box. Now, when you have all of these put together, let me show you what they look like. You have all 3 of these. Then you're ready to stack them together. Even that's kind of cute, just like that. You could do like a little pyramid of them. So you can use liquid glue to put these together. You can do sticky strip. You know, whatever you think is going to hold. The paper is going to come around it. So all I can say, the most important thing is that you don't have anything sticking out, that they're all the same size, and that you don't put them in upside down, because I already did that once. So you want to make sure that they are all with the drawers in the right place. Right here. Keep them all together. And then all you have to do is put it all together with designer paper. And this is 3 inches by 11 inches. And, you know, I started at the bottom in the middle. You can kind of see how it's going to wrap around and just meet up down there. So you can start right in the middle if you want to on the bottom. Put some adhesive on there. And this is just so fun to decorate. You think of all the different themes, you know. And then just crease it, add a little bit more adhesive, come around, crease it, and then just glue like this. So easy to do, kind of fun. There you go, crease it, more adhesive, like that, and just make sure the front is the most important part, so make sure that looks good. And then here we are back at the bottom, adhesive right there on the seam so it doesn't go anywhere. And we're good. Isn't that cute? It's gonna be so much fun to fill. So see how easy the drawers move? That's because we made them just a little bit smaller. Very fun. Let me know what you're gonna fill yours with, because I am gonna take a trip to the store and see what candy fits in these, because I think that would be fun. Little silver kisses or some kind of fun things. Even tags would be cute. Go make one. We'll see you next time. See it, learn it, stamp it.